Hey guys, so today I'll be talking about Sated Devourer. At first I thought that item was bad because I misread the passive. I thought you could do a second basic attack every 1 second, but turns out it's 2 auto hits every second auto hit. So yeah, I'll be talking about the potential of the item and with what it works, what you could do with it, stuff like that. So yeah, let's get started. Just only one item besides maybe Natural Tooth and Blade of Turin King that I actually find really good with it. Like, it has good synergizing with it, and it's not really meta, which is Wits End. Wits End, assists. 42 bonus magic damage on hit, and it works with City Devour, so instead of 84 damage every second, 2 other hits, you deal 126 magic damage every auto hit. Every 2 auto hits, sorry. So for Aatrox, nothing special. You can play him top lane and jungle mainly with it. If you go tank or bruiser, you can use Blood Prize a lot. If you're going full damage, you should use this in my opinion, unless you have a lot of lifesteal. Blood Prize, extra magic damage every 2 hits, actually, with City Devourer, max stacks. Same for Blue Terrace. Blue Terrace heals you every 3 hits. Caitlyn works as AD carry. Could also work mid, honestly, but it's going to be hard if you're playing against a good enemy team. Caitlyn will be a lot stronger late game now if you go for City Devourer. She might be weaker, like she will sacrifice early game potential and bullying, but she will be a lot stronger late game. Corki, I mean, you could build Corki on hit now, but it's not really effective on Corki since he's mainly a burst champion. It relies on high numbers, right, and attack speed. Attack speed Corki would work now, but it's still less efficient than the standard Corki builds. You could go TT4 on Corki if you go for Blade of Turin King build, which would synergize somewhat. Darius, it's really bad on him, don't use it. I mean, you could use it to get max stacks faster, to get your ulti off faster if you're playing against a squishy team. Like, for example, if you're playing against a poke team or a high damage team that's squishy, you want to kill them as soon as possible, especially if they outskill you. So you could go with Devourer and then full tank or something if you're jungling. If you're top lane, you could still go Devourer since you have high kill potential once you're level 6, but I don't recommend the top lane. Diana, yeah, it's pretty irrelevant on EP Diana and Bruce Diana. You could play Diana tank now with City Devourer. I mean, it also works on Bruiser, but less, in my opinion. For Diana, you could go with City Devourer, Blade of Turin King, which end full tank or something like that, or Natural Tooth, depending on what you want to go, like AP Bruiser or full tank or on-hit tank or something like that. Echo, don't buy it on Echo, it's shit, in my opinion. The reason why is because where is it? Z-Drive Resonance cannot affect the same target more than once every few seconds. So yeah, unless you go tank Echo with on-hit tank Echo with Blade of Turin King or and I don't recommend it. And even if you go with that, it's not as efficient as it would be with other champions. Elise, it could work on Elise. She could be an on-hit tank now instead of a mage and peeler. Especially with her new ulti behavior, like Spiderling's heal without using W this time. So you will have a lot more sustain and damage if you go on hit tank Elise. And the skill cap is a lot less than mage or bruiser or mage tank Elise. This E is decently hard. I mean, it's quite hard to hit now. Unless you're a god at skill shotting or something. Gangplank, irrelevant, doesn't matter. Gnar. You could play Gnar jungle, although I don't really recommend it. Unless you're good with using with Fury management and ulti management. You could play him top at Say Devourer. I'm pretty sure I will play that sometimes now. Unless Say Devourer gets nerfed pretty fast. Instead of going for Black Cleaver or Blade of Truth King Rush on Gnar, you could go with Say Devourer Rush on Skirmisher Blade. If you go Say Devourer, like Say Devourer on Gnar is, in my opinion, one of the most interesting synergizings. Gnar skills off late game because Mini Gnar isn't that strong late game, only Mega Gnar. But if you go Say Devourer, Mini Gnar, like you could abuse to the broken stats of Say Devourer to make Gnar his weak, Mini Gnar his weak late game very strong actually. Like you could proc his W every 2 auto hits instead of 3 auto hits, which is actually big. And it's not like Vayne. It's not like Vayne W. It's like W. Once you attack something else, it won't reset the stacks. The stacks will stay. You can use it on multiple people. Just a word in advance. Satan Devour does not work with Renounced Hurricane, so don't try it. So yeah, if you go Satan Devour on Gnar, Mega Gnar could be a disengage, initiating, peeling champion like CC Machine. And Mini Gnar could be a tank shredder. In solo queue, it's still effective, but not as effective. I would only play it in ranked 5s, in my opinion. I like to see his damage is really high. 50 plus 14% of target's maximum health. Like, it's magic damage, but even 10, like, it's super high base damage. And if you can proc it, like, really fast, like, if your team has already enough peel and disengage and stuff like that, like, you can just focus on staying in Mini Gnar and wreaking havoc over the enemy front line. I wouldn't be surprised if people play him EP on hit now and rely on Mini Gnar, just because of, like, not specifically full EP or something, but if they go some magic penetration just for his W, if they're playing against a heavy tank team or like 5 tanky or booster teams. Graves, pretty irrelevant. Fiora, irrelevant. Fizz, on hit, tank Fizz, stronger again. Although in my opinion, EP Fizz jungle is better now because of Runeglaive. Irelia, don't play Irelia jungle, please. I mean, she works into jungle, but she has, well, she tanks fairly well, but not that good in my opinion compared to some other champions. And her clear speed is really, really bad early game. I would play Sadie for Irelia top a lot, honestly, with Skirmisher or Stalker Blade. Maybe even a Trailblazer for extra pressure. Sadie Devour is really strong on Irelia just because of the bonus damage and healing, but you put yourself behind the early game. I mean, you're a lot stronger late game, but you put yourself behind early game, and she's actually reliant on snowballing, so I don't think it's that good of an item on Irelia. Since if you go straight to Devourer on Irelia, you basically fuck up her, yeah, like you fuck up the way she's meant to be played, like she's meant to be a snowball champion, and then you'll just focus on late game skilling on Irelia, which isn't really efficient. It could work really well, but it's not efficient. Jax. I tried it before, and I think Jax is one of the best kits to synergize with Sadie Devourer. Not only does he start to have max attack speed from his passive, like his passive gives 10% attack speed and stacks 6 times. You can get it twice as fast now, so you don't have to fight so long before you fight at full damage DPS potential. Your DPS is increased by I don't know the calculations, I'm an idiot, but your damage, you can figure out yourself, like the damage of Jax with his ulti gets a huge boost as well. Like his DPS is increased by 1.5, I think, like 150% just with this, excluding this. If you go for short sustained fights, like his DPS is a lot higher than 150%, I would say the Devourer. You could play him top lane with say the Devourer or Shingle. I would recommend Shingle because you get stacks for S10. Yeah. This is probably the strongest synergizing kit. This is probably the strongest kit for say Devaurer's synergization or something like that. On Jinx, like you see here, it applies but it doesn't damage, so irrelevant. Karma, irrelevant because she's EP. Vayne and Kalista are the only two AD carries that actually really work well with say the Devourer. Like you can get a lot more rent stacks before you proc with Kalista. But you should be a Kalista or Vayne main in my opinion, or playing top lane against a tank or something like that, because they're already weak enough early game, and they'll be a lot weaker then with Smite Rush, like no heal, and you rush the jungle item yourself, so inefficient. But yeah, it could be a huge boost. If you aren't that good with Kalista or Vayne, I would suggest you play her into jungle or top lane. Kassadin could be a on-hit tank now, in my opinion. He could be an on-hit tank now, in my opinion, but it's not really that efficient. You could go with say the Devourer into Wit's End on him, or Blade of the Ruined King, and then just go full tank. It's actually pretty interesting and could work really well, but I mean, like EP is a lot stronger in my opinion damage wise, but yeah, it could work. I actually probably will try Kassadin Jingle soon. It could even work top lane. I think it would work better top lane than jungle, because his jungle clear is really bad and slow. So you're actually forced to go Trailblazer. I'm pretty sure his first clear is also pretty shit. Oh well, you could see how well it works. Keel. It seems really strong at start, but like I've said before, it doesn't work with Runan's Hurricane, say the Devourer. Just for this very reason. It only works on the target you hit. It doesn't work with Runan's Hurricane Bolts. Hurricane Bolts apply on-hit effects, but they don't work with say the Devourer. They only work on the champion you're targeting, like your real auto hit. On hit, then cannon would work again. ED cannon would work again as well. Alter his other range is pretty low if I remember correctly. Kochmao mid and ED carry would work really well. Actually, Kochmao is the third ED carry that would work really well with devourer, and he's not weak early game, so if you want to play devourer on an AD carry, Kochmao would probably be the easiest, but you put pressure on your whole team, and especially your support because you don't have any escapes. You could also play Kochmao mid, on-hit Kochmao, or ED Kochmao mid. Yeah. You could also go for Lee Sin, DPS Lee Sin now, but it's pretty inefficient. There's one thing nice about devourer, but like on devourer you'll never use devourer on Lee normally, but the way it works with Lee is actually pretty interesting. Like you get double energy return for only one stack of Fury instead of two, which is pretty interesting. But it's irrelevant, doesn't matter because yeah, attack speed on Lee is pretty bad. Master G is kind of a must pick or ban champion now, especially when he goes full ED if your team is bad. Or if your team comp is bad. Like if you can't immediately CC him, you're pretty much fucked actually. Or if you can dodge his enemy CC with Q pretty decently. She and Jax have the best synergisation with devourer in my opinion. Jax has a huge DPS increase because it works with his passive, so you get max stacks a lot faster, twice as fast. And his stacks work a lot faster as well, so you get your ulti proc off every 2 auto hits instead of 3. For G has DPS is a lot higher, unless he Qs 10 Jax. Like his DPS increase is a lot higher than Jax now, unless he Qs a lot. The reason why is because instead of 5 auto hits, I believe. Yeah, instead of 5 auto hits, you need to attack 3 times, 4 times before you actually proc the passive. And the passive also works as a devourer stack, I assume. Well, not stack, but I mean like as a setup for the auto hit, double auto hit thing. You will get your Q back a lot faster now as well with devourer, because it works on every auto hit. Your cooldown decreases by 1 second. But mainly, like Q is irrelevant. I mean, it's relevant to some extent, but like for synergization with devourer, it's pretty relevant. It's just used to dodge abilities. The main reason why it's really strong on G is his passive and his E. Like you see here, it doesn't seem like a lot, but actually it's really high bonus damage. Like for example, you have 400 ED, 400 times 0.20. Oh. Plus 20. 30. Plus 17. So every 2 auto hits you deal 333 damage with 400 AD instead of 220, which is a huge deal, especially when you have max attack speed. Plus you deal 180 bonus magic damage instead of 120 with devourer. Yeah, so it's extremely broken on Chi, especially because Same for Jax. His kit contains attack speed steroids. So yeah. Bruiser Chi and Tank Chi are also really strong now, a lot stronger than they used to be. They have a lot more threat as well now. Tank Chi has a lot more damage now and doesn't like damage late game. Bruiser Chi has more damage as well. I recommend going ADG if pretty much everywhere. Unless you're too impatient to wait for enemy to waste your CC, then you can go Bruiser or Tank Chi. Malphite's pretty irrelevant, and I actually like playing EP attack speed Malphite for some reason. Misfortune also works really well with CTD4, but it's pretty relevant. Like, she's pretty... I mean, she works as AD carry, but she's not that efficient of a pick. Nocturne is pretty strong with CTD4. He gets his passive up faster, it gives AoE damage and more sustain to him. Nunu, on-hit Nunu is... On-hit tank Nunu is stronger now, more threat. Olaf... I mean, it could work on Olaf. You get your E a lot faster, it would work. Like, it would make... It would give tank Olaf a lot more true damage and damage potential, but at the same time, like, if you're going for tank Olaf, you also need a lot of hit points to tank damage and tank the true damage you get from your E. Your E self-harms. Orianna irrelevant since he's a mage, first mage. Pantheon. I mean, it could work on DPS Pantheon, like attack speed Pantheon. You could W and auto-hit, but at the same time it's not really relevant since Pantheon is an AD caster. Poppy, it's actually okay on Poppy, I would guess, since you get max stacks faster, just like Jack's passive, but like Poppy is more... I mean, she can be sustained fighter, but she's more of a burster in my opinion, so yeah. Rek'Sai, Renekton, pretty irrelevant. Rumble, irrelevant. Sejuani, irrelevant. Shaco, irrelevant. Shen has a huge DPS boost. You get your passive backup a lot faster, which deals bonus magic damage based on your max health, I believe, or current health. Probably max health. Oh no, bonus health. Okay. Shyvana is a lot stronger now. Sion, AD Sion has more damage and threat potential, but it's pretty irrelevant. Skarner, I don't know Skarner, but I guess it's pretty irrelevant on him since he's meant to be a tank. Actually, it's a huge buff to... It's a big buff to Skarner, on-hit tank Skarner, in my opinion. But, I mean, like, why would you play Skarner? Yeah, his damage is increased pretty highly if you're on-hit tank Skarner, but at the same time it's... I mean, it could work, but like, if you want to play on-hit tank jungle, there's a lot better picks than Skarner, like Volibear or Lidier or Shyvana. Tahm Kench is pretty much the same like Shen. The only difference is that he gets his magic damage, bonus damage from ulti, so it takes like 6 seconds before you... I mean, takes you until level 6 to make proper use of City Devourer. On-hit Tahm Kench is pretty fun with City Devourer. Here. Bonus magic damage, 6% of bonus health without having to rely on cooldown. It procs every auto hit. So it's actually a huge boost to his on-hit damage. Another big boost Tahm Kench gets from City Devourer is that he gets 3 stacks on an enemy with 2 auto hits only instead of 3, which could be useful since you are pretty slow on Tahm Kench. Tahm Kench has low movement speed and doesn't really attack that fast. So you could auto hit twice during team fight, get a stun off, go to the next target, auto hit twice, get a stun off. If he's a high damage threat, eat him, stuff like that. It adds a lot more strategic diversity on Tahm Kench, on a tank, Tahm Kench in my opinion. Teemo, yeah, you could play him into jungle. I don't really recommend him to jungle. What you could do is play him top lane and rush Skirmisher Blade or Stalker Blade with City Devourer instead of Blade of the Ruined King. My guess is that AP Teemo will be used a lot less now, and on-hit Teemo will become a lot bigger thing again, like Wits and Blade of the Ruined King, City Devourer Teemo with Field Tank or something like that, or Nashotooth. It's actually a pretty big boost on Teemo, his on-hit attack speed damage build. So it works on this. 50, 110. So you get 330 bonus magic damage every 2 auto hits instead of every 3 auto hits, which is pretty big. Like every 2 auto hits you get 110 bonus magic damage from auto hits. The only time you would still build EP on Teemo, in my opinion, with City Devourer would be to buy armor penetration, such as Lianus Torment or Void Staff, or Abyssal Scepter. Probably with Sand would be a much better build on him to shred magic resist. Trash. In my opinion, he could work pretty well top lane now, since, I mean, his only weakness is that he has no escapes and that he can get dived on easily unless he is pretty tanky already. You'll get a huge damage boost, like on hit damage DPS boost. I would play him if you want to play him at City Fire for some reason in jungle. He's actually a pretty solid jungler. Works really well with his Flay. And you kind of have infinite damage on Flay since you have infinite soul amounts. Trash jungle ganks pretty well as well. You could just walk up to enemies, Flay them, then hook them. Tristana, explosive shot. City Devourer on Tristana is a pretty big boost in her because she gets her stacks off a lot faster. So, like, the problem with Tristana early game is that it's hard for her to get max stacks off during trades or skirmishes to explode explosive shots to maximize the damage on it. City Devourer will help you get max stacks on it a lot easier, but at the same time it will lower your DPS since you're going for a... Like, it's not efficient on Tristana. You go smite instead of heal, and you rush a jungle item instead of BS sword or something. Like, that's a pretty big nerf, but like, it could work, but it's not efficient. You fully rely on scaling 10. And Tristana is pretty strong early game and has to abuse that to survive mid game in my opinion. But if you go City far and you don't lose early game, You could become really strong mid game already, which is Tristana's weakness. So yeah, it could work. Twinamir, Irrelevant, Twisted Fate. Kennen and Twisted Fate could play as AD carry now, but they have low attack range and their kit doesn't really help them do skirmishes and duels or trades well, in my opinion. Twisted Fate jungle, yeah, could work a lot. It's a lot stronger now. Twitch, irrelevant in my opinion. Vayne, you could play Vayne jungle, Vayne top, Vayne mid if you're really good at Vayne. Vayne AD carry. If you're playing against a 5 bruiser team, what I would do is play Vayne tank or Vayne bruiser in jungle or top lane. Vi got a huge boost, a huge buff now. She's a lot stronger as a tank now and as a bruiser. She has a lot more damage. Her tank threat is a lot higher now, not only because of her kit like her ulti and Q, but also because she can literally peel for her team now just by shredding the enemy tanks so fucking fast. Varus, it could work on hit team fight Varus as AD carry, but I mean, Varus is considered as the AD cast now due to meta, but I mean, it could work on Varus, it's just not as efficient. Like, if you want to play Varus with CD4 as AD carry, you might as well pick Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw does it a lot better, since Kog'Maw is a lane bully with his W. Warwick, I mean, I guess it's strong Warwick. You deal more magic damage, synergize as well with its end, but at the same time, like, I mean, it also works with his ulti, kinda. So like his ulti is just a suppression with other hits, but I mean, it's Warwick. If you're playing against a good team or a good enemy team comp, like, it's going to be, I mean, it's going to make a difference for sure, but it's not going to be that significant or noticeable as it would be on Chi or Jax or I don't know, Timo, anyone else, basically, in my opinion. Since you get your knock up second auto hit instead of third auto hit now, so you can succeed the enemy faster, I guess. You have more sustain because of your W, but at the same time W got nerfed, so irrelevant. If you really want to play devourer, I would suggest you play it on Aatrox. Caitlyn could work on it, but it's not really, I mean, like, it's not going to make a big difference on Caitlyn in my opinion. You might as well just go for Renowned Hurricane instead of Seed Devourer, and it will do a better job than Seed Devourer. Corki is irrelevant, he's an ED bruiser. ED, like, he relies on high flat numbers instead of like short sustained bursts instead of auto hitting. But it could work on Corki because of his true damage. Darius, get your ulti off faster at max stacks. It's a boost to your ulti, but it makes you have a lot less skill potential and be weaker. Diana could be tank now. Like, this is a small recap, by the way. Diana could be a lot stronger now. She could be played as tank, on-hit tank, or bruiser. Echo, irrelevant. It's shit on Echo, don't build it on Echo. Elise could be a lot stronger on-hit tank. She has a lot more damage now, a lot more sustain. If you want to play Elise and you lack skill to land E properly like your Cocoon, you can just play Elise on-hit tank. Gangplank irrelevant. Gnar, you could abuse Seta Devourer on Mini Gnar to make his weak Mini Gnar late game skilling into a really strong tank shredding late game Mini Gnar. The only problem you might have with Seta Devourer and Mini Gnar is that you need armor penetration since it's magic damage. So you could go for a Void Staff, for example, but yeah, it's not really efficient on him 10. I would still bother. Like, I would still try Seta Devourer on Mini Gnar. It's actually pretty strong in my opinion. Like, this base skilling is so high that it doesn't really matter if it's 3 damage or magic damage. It will still deal a pretty fair amount in my opinion. Plus, Smite on Gnar top it works. Like it's been used before, so should be fine. Graves irrelevant, Fiora irrelevant. Fizz on hit Fizz is a lot stronger, ED Fizz is a lot stronger as well, but like you have Rune Glaive on AP jungle Fizz now, so meh. Irelia, top lane Irelia could work really well with it. Like you could focus on scaling. You could go for a Seta Devourer on Irelia and just focus on late game scaling. You will have a lot more sustain and bonus true damage, but you will kind of ruin the strategy behind Irelia, which is snowballing. You won't have much skill potential, and you will have like it will probably not snowball early in mid game. You will be a lot weaker then. Checks, kind of a misbuy on checks, whether you're top or jungle. Best would be that you play checks jungle with Seta Devourer, since you can get stacks faster. But it still works really well on checks top as well. Jinx, irrelevant. Karma, irrelevant. Kalista, really strong Kalista because of friend. Kassadin like Diana could be an on-hit tank now into jungle or even top lane. Kill. I would say it's a buff on kill, but not that relevant since it doesn't. Seta Devourer doesn't synergize with Renowned Hurricane Bolts, so the other thing it could be useful for is stacking Holy Fervor faster, in my opinion. Actually, yeah, it could work. It could be a good replacement for a Renowned Hurricane, but I don't think it's like you will shred single targets faster, but you won't re-shred anymore. So not that good in my opinion. Renowned Hurricane works better with E, since E is also splash damage. Kennen could be played top lane as an unhit tank or unhit bruiser, and could be played ED again. Kog'Maw, ED or ED mid. Lee Sin, irrelevant. Messagey, huge buff, just like Jax. Malphite, quite irrelevant. Misfortune could work with it, it's pretty strong. Nocturne, big buff. Nunu, unhit tank Nunu, stronger. Olaf, I'm not too sure about Olaf, it could work, but could just go full ED Olaf if you want damage then. If you want to go tank, you should go Juggernaut. Orianna, irrelevant unless you want to bait the enemy team into thinking you're a mage and then go on hit EP Orianna for some reason. Pantheon irrelevant, he's an ED caster, not a hitter. Could work on Poppy, but it's better that you go burst on her in my opinion. You get your max stacks faster on W. Rek'Sai irrelevant, Renekton irrelevant, Rumble irrelevant, Sejuani irrelevant, Shaco irrelevant, Shen high DPS boost, Shyvana huge DPS boost, Sion kind of irrelevant, Skarner big DPS boost on hit tank, Skarner, Tahm huge DPS boost on hit Tahm. You get a lot more, you get your stacks a lot easier and faster. This could be useful since you are really slow, like you have low base movement speed. AP Teemo will be less played now. On-hit Teemo will become a bigger thing again. Mainly top lane. It could also work mid lane, but mainly top lane, unless you're playing against some melee mids. It could also work in jungle, but mainly top lane. Like Thresh could work top lane now. But I recommend if you go City Fire and Trash that you play him into jungle. Tristana, if you go City Fire and Tristana, you give away your early game. Yeah, it's pretty bad on Tristana, I would say. You give away your early game kill potential. Your mid game might be slightly stronger, but you focus on skilling, which is something you don't really have to do since Tristana can snowball really hard. And she scales naturally really well in late game anyways, so Twinamir relevant, Twisted Fate could be played ED carry again. It could also be jungle, Twitch, irrelevant, Vayne. You can play Vayne anywhere but support now. Vayne would be a must pick against a tank team with 3 or 4 tanks or a tanky ED carrier such as Graves. You could go tank Vayne or booster Vayne in jungle. Fi has a huge boost, mainly as tank Fi because of W. You can literally peel for your team by just shredding tanks. On hit, team fight, ED carry Ferris would be a lot stronger now. Say Devourer or Renance Hurricane on Ferris for the extra magic damage when you're ED carry for hybrid damage. But currently, Ferris is considered as the ED caster, so I don't know. Kog'Maw does what Ferris does a lot better, but say Devourer as ED carry. Or AD carry mid. Warwick, a lot more DPS and sustain, but is irrelevant since good teams will make you useless. Since how faster knock up, faster, better sustain, but it's kind of the same like Warwick. Good teams will make you useless, pretty relevant. Some champions not mentioned here would be Volibear and Udyr. I'm just going to look up everything to make sure I didn't miss anything. City Fire works on brown passive. City Fire does not work on 4+ spikes, I'm pretty sure, since it's only on hit. Your 4+ spikes is considered on hit, but it doesn't really work with City Fire, I'm pretty sure of it. Does not work on Eve. I think it might work, but I don't think it will work. Doesn't work on GSW. Doesn't work on Lulu passive. Probably does work with Nami E, which gives you magic damage and slow. But it will reduce the slow duration, so eh. Probably doesn't work with Riven passive. Might, but I doubt it will. Doesn't work with C4 W. Works with Udyr Q. Works with Udyr Phoenix Stance. Phoenix Stance will proc. Phoenix Stance will proc every second auto hit instead of third auto hit now, which will increase Udyr's DPS quite a lot, and on Q it also works because of the bonus attack damage throughout the hit. EP on hit Udyr would work, but might as well go full tank Udyr with Phoenix Sense and with Sand for it, since it will work a lot better. Maybe Abyssal Scepter if you really want armor, magic resist threat. Works with Volibear. Volibear gets his bite faster. I assume it works with Zed passive, since he is currently being fixed. But yeah, he's not available for play, so irrelevant. And that's every possible synergisation with State Devourer so far I can think of. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Have fun up using State Devourer to get higher, easier. Bye bye.